They're going to take some time over this and bring forward Nordi Mukiele, who likes a long throw. Sunderland are looking to complete the double over Chelsea. They haven't done that since the 2000-2001 season. 2-1 win at Stamford Bridge. Can they make it 2 out of 2? Long throw comes in, jostling, and it's cleared. Back as far as Mandava, midway inside the Chelsea half. Sends it back out wide to the throw-in taker. Attempted cross is deflected off Cucurella. It's just going to be cleared away. Now it goes for a throw. Sunderland looking to take the throw-in quickly. It was Enzo Fernandez who cleared that one away. Xhaka takes the throw-in quickly. Links up with Geertruida, but no other option then but to go back to Robin Roofs, who's a good 10 yards or so outside of his own box. He squares the ball back to Enzo Lefebvre, who's playing as a left-back for the moment. He's everywhere, Enzo Lefebvre. Taking over now on the left side is Noah Siddiqui. Back to Luke O'Nien now, who's dropped back into his usual position. Siddiqui again. Links up with Geertruida, who's also swapped wings for the moment. It's a clockwork orange football at the moment from Sunderland. Now down the line for someone who is actually in position, Nilson Angelo. Siddiqui again, taking on Caicedo, and then threading a nice ball through to Xhaka, who's inside the area, looking to pull it across. Granit Xhaka needs some support, gets the byline, does pull it across. It's just deflected away outside of the area, and then a hit from range is blocked. It was Mukiele who tried his luck first time from over 25 yards out. Looked to be a half-decent strike, but just too many bodies in the box. Another well-constructed attack by the Black Cats. Granit Xhaka been so good for Sunderland since arriving from Leverkusen. Another throw in the Chelsea third of the field, so another long throw coming from Mukiele. Robert Sanchez, good way out of his goal as that one comes in and then just drops back, but Chelsea able to clear. Cole Palmer trying to bring it away, but he's been well tackled, although the ball ricochets onto João Pedro, and for a second it looked like he was going to be able to send Pedro Neto through on goal, but he completely overhit the attempted through ball. And Sunderland to recover quite comfortably. Luke O'Nien again, midway inside his own half. Siddiqui now turns it back to the 31-year-old O'Nien, one of the longest serving players in this squad. The majority of them arrived this season, at least the starting 11 did. Another one down the line this time. Robbie finds it and he holds it up nicely. Trey Hume, his pass down the line deflects out of play, and another throw-in, and again Mukiele coming forward to take this one. Really lively start in this game for Regis the Breeze's side, who aren't known for their particularly productive first halves. Just 12 Premier League goals in first halves, which was the joint lowest with Wolves, but Wolves have now scored a 13th. 70% of Sunderland's goals have come in the second halves of games. That is the biggest percentage, as you might imagine, in the league. Luke O'Nien then just gets shoved to the ground by Levi Colwill, so that's why we've got a bit of a stoppage before this Sunderland throwing comes in. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything at all. Mukiele then goes short with it after all that. Finds Xhaka, now receives the pass again, tries the cross. This one blocked by Cucurella, and it goes out for a throw. Some Sunderland players and fans were hoping for a corner there, but no. Definitely a throw-in, only about 5 yards from the corner flag. Mukiele this time does launch it long towards the near post, so it's just a game of catch between him and Robert Sanchez in the end. No one particularly close to Sanchez by the standards of a long throw routine. Very comfortable catch. And now he's got the ball at his feet, played it square across his own goal to Levi Colwill. Siddiqui chasing, but Chelsea work the ball out of their own half, or their own area I should say, nicely, and up to the halfway line. Now Cucurella links up with Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez, Chelsea's standout player in a difficult season. He then gets brought to the ground. Free kick for the Blues. Gets us backing into his man, and it was Siddiqui who just put a foot in there, got nowhere near the ball. Didn't exactly do Fernandez any damage, but it was enough for the referee to blow his whistle. So a free kick on the left wing, the Chelsea left wing, more or less in line with the corner of the penalty area, so not exactly wide out, and about 30 yards from goal for Pedro Neto. So he's got enough of an angle, most certainly. Not the easiest ball to deliver in though. He floats one into near post, and climbing for it there. It's not clear yet. Caicedo's in there, his shot is blocked. Sunderland still can't get it clear. It's now with Fernandez on the right hand side of the area, but he gets the ball caught under his feet. He then gets surrounded by three bodies in red and white. He's still scrapping away, and finally Lefebvre takes it and Fernandez stays down. I think the decision has gone against him. It's a really good delivery, and João Pedro attacked the header. He couldn't quite make clean contact with it, but then Mandava couldn't get it clear. Caicedo with the shot that was blocked. And Fernandez
signed when they were in League One in 2018. He's been with the club in all the journey all the way to the Premier League when they were at their lowest ebb. He took them to their highest peak, if you like. Played in a playoff final where they lost and then won. And it was just 4 years ago they beat Wickham to get into the Championship at Wembley. And then now they're back in the Premier League competing for Europe. Robbie turning inside the Chelsea penalty area. Back to goal. Now we've here Trider. Now short on to Hume with the ball in. Looking for both Angulo and Robbie. It's headed cleared by Gusto. Now Lefebvre. Laying it now towards Siddiqui. There's a whole load of Chelsea shirts trying to block the shot, but he just plays it back. Now on to Lefebvre out on this near side. Gusto had to close him down. Neto there to support him too as Chelsea double up and trying to deal with Enzo Lefebvre. Now it's on now with Siddiqui, who now looks to maybe get the cross. Right-footed pass back now to Reinildo. Sunderland adopting a patient approach for now as they try and get towards Sanchez in the Chelsea goal. Reinildo looking for the 1-2 with Siddiqui. Reinildo went on the outside of him. Siddiqui with the low ball in, left-footed. First time clearance away there by Wesley Fofana. Into João Pedro, looking to try and hold this ball up, turning, facing his own defence, and gives it to Malo Gusto as they now just play keep ball over on their near side. Gusto with a crossfield ball, looking for Yorel Hato, who's got a sprint to keep that in over on the far side, plays it down the line, short to Cucurella, who's hit it against himself, just making a right mess of this. Ball now into Brian Robbie, who just as he was about to take aim, saw a Chelsea challenge come in and knock it behind for a corner kick, and Chelsea near the architects and their own downfall. They were trying to play out from the back. Cucurella hit it against himself. Hume then played the ball, looked up and spotted Robbie. It was a very good challenge by Levi Cole. Just as Robbie got that first touch under control, Cole will just gets a toe in and just takes that shot off the foot of Brian Robbie. And it won't be a Sunderland corner as they really are totting up on them corners, and they've all been taken over on that right side of the pitch. They attack the goal away to my left with the sun shining. What a beautiful day it is here on Tyneside. In by Xhaka to the near post. It's headed clear by Levi Cole. Siddiqui with header. Bounce to the feet of Xhaka. Now on to Trey Hume. First time ball in low. 09 with the shot. It's blocked and then it's hit by Mukiele. And then there was Nilson Angulo, I think, who was trying to touch it in. Robbie was also there around the 6-yard box as well. But it's one that has gone out of play for a throw. Crucial bit of defending on more than a couple of occasions there for Chelsea. Cole met the first ball in by Xhaka as he headed it clear. Lovely ball down the line, looked up. Hume got the ball back to 09. It was blocked by Caicedo. And then the shot driven by Mukiele was one that he's hit into the ground. And it was one that two Sunderland players were looking to try and touch in, Angulo and Robbie. And whilst the action goes on, Siddiqui goes down. There was some appeals from the Sunderland fans for a penalty. Chris Kavanagh says no, they will be checking that on VAR, as we know. As Chelsea are really struggling at the moment to just get the ball down and just try and calm things down. And Sunderland are certainly having the better of the opening 20 minutes here at the Stadium of Light, in which it is Sunderland 0, Chelsea 0, and a game you listen to on Premier League Live and on the TalkSport app. Lovely ball out to Hidrider, first time in, it's high into the centre. Fofana checks it to Robert Sanchez, and that was far too casual from Wesley Fofana. He did not see on his blind side that there was Nilson Angulo trying to maybe think about prodding that in and nip in between Fofana and Sanchez, and it was one that did eventually go through to the Chelsea goalkeeper. But Wesley Fofana, I tell you what, he was certainly confident enough that that ball was going to reach his goalkeeper. Just prior to that, there was a shout of a foul. It did maybe look at first, it might have been inside the box, that challenge from Caicedo on Siddiqui. That didn't happen, and it was one that was out of the box, and Angulo hits it, and it's saved by Sanchez. Chelsea trying to again play out from the back, Sunderland putting the squeeze on, as it was Hato who saw his pass get blocked off, and then it was left by Brobby for Angulo, still waiting for his first Sunderland goal after arriving in January, and it was one that he hit straight at Robert Sanchez, who didn't have to move at all. But you can feel the intensity, feel the electricity inside this place that these Sunderland players are absolutely thriving off. They really are a brilliant set of fans of those Sunderland supporters, in which they have seen some incredible highs this season. It could even get better if they were to reach Europe, something they've not done since the 1970s. And Guyo's looking to try and get on the end of that ball played in behind by Mukiele, but they really are not giving this Chelsea defence an easy time at all. They're trying to catch them out whenever they possibly can. This Chelsea at the moment really are just struggling. They're just in a shell. They're not prepared to put any press on at all. And Sunderland allowed to just play with the ball and keep hold of it. Xhaka now has it, left-footed, goes high, looking towards Angulo. He's quite a tall winger, is the Ecuadorian. Coming up against Moises Caicedo, a man who, of course, will be alongside him in the World Cup. Xhaka now on the near side to Angulo, now with Reynaldo. O'Nien. There's a push on the feet from Enzo. It was right in front of the referee, Chris Kavanagh. Does acknowledge it and lets the play continue. That's been a goal in the game at Craven Cottage. Fulham leading Newcastle. Issa Diop with the goal in that game. Could it be the farewell to Fulham for Marco Silva that he's hoping for? And both those sides on the final day have nothing to play for, as there is a free kick given against Brian Brobby as the ball struck his right arm. Bit of uproar, as you can hear from the Sunderland fans. Chris Kavanagh, though, gives it, and there's a lot of uproar and a lot of protest from Brian Brobby, who's probably saying he couldn't do a lot about it, but Chris Kavanagh thinks otherwise. 22 minutes have passed here. It is Sunderland 0, Chelsea 0. Remember, Chelsea, as it stands, would be playing in the Conference League for next season. Of course, a competition you do have to qualify for via the playoffs, and if you do finish 7th, you would be, of course, straight into the Europa League, where we could end up having 3 sides in there. We could even end up having 9 teams from England in Europe next season. We've already got Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Aston Villa in the Champions League guaranteed. Liverpool all but there. Bournemouth at least guaranteed the Europa League. We could have Brighton in there, we could have Chelsea in the Europa League. One of them two could be in the Conference League. Brentford or Sunderland could find themselves in either the Europa League or the Conference League as well. So English sides really are enjoying themselves in Europe this season, and of course as well with the high coefficient ranking that England has, it has allowed an unprecedented amount of teams to compete in Europe. Nearly half the league for next season going in there. 23 on the clock. It is Sunderland 0, Chelsea 0. O'Nien, left-footed ball high, looking towards Lafine, making the run through the middle. It was Hato battling away. Brobby coming onto it. It's hit off Hato. Both appealing. Both were saying the last touch came off the other one, and it will be a Sunderland throw over on the far side as the decision has gone the host's way and Brian Brobby's way. But Sunderland did win the first fixture between the two in late October. They fell behind with Alejandro Garnacho scoring, and Wilson Isidore would equalise, and the last gasp winner from Dean Talby secured the points for Sunderland, who are looking to do a first league double over Chelsea for the first time since the 2000-2001 campaign, where they finished in 7th place under Peter Reid. in the Premier League in the early part of this century. They are, of course, starting the day in the top 10 are Sunderland, and of course for Régis Le Bris it could be their highest finish since the 2010-11 season, as the shot is in from Trey Hume, and Sunderland are in front. You have to say they thoroughly deserved the opening goal in this game, and in a game between these two trying to sneak into Europe on the final day of the season, it is Sunderland who lead as Trey Hume has found the back of the net, and it is Sunderland who have the lead as the home fans enjoyed that goal from Trey Hume, the man from Northern Ireland. Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0. It all stems from a long ball from Robin Roofs. He looks up, he tries to put it into that area over on the middle towards the Chelsea centre-backs, and it's flicked on by O'Nien, who stayed up. He gets up above Yoro Hato, flicks it behind him, and Trey Hume, what a finish it is, right-footed on the volley. It was low, it was crisply struck beyond Robert Sanchez, who was flinging away to his left, and in truth he was nowhere near it, and Sunderland are in front as Trey Hume has found the back of the net. As the goal will stand, there was possible checks of maybe an offside in there somewhere, but the VAR check is over. Matt Donoghue and his assistant Eddie Smart happy with what they've seen, and Sunderland are in front, and it's come courtesy of Trey Hume with just 26 minutes gone on the clock, as it was Luke O'Nien who was possibly in an offside position. It was Wesley Fofana's back foot playing on Luke O'Nien, who of course won that header from Roof's ball forward, which flicked on behind Hato and into Trey Hume. So the goal stands and Sunderland are in front at the Stadium of Light. And speaking of teams in front, that's Manchester City, who are leading at home to Aston Villa on Pep Guardiola's final game in charge. Scoring for Man City's Antoine Semenyo, the man who got the winner in the FA Cup final 8 days ago, which saw, of course, Manchester City defeat Chelsea in the final at Wembley Stadium. So 27 minutes on the clock, Sunderland doing what they need to do to be potentially getting into Europe. What does it do for the live standings, which, as we expect, will probably chop and change, and Sunderland, as it stands, are going into 8th and are qualifying for the Europa Conference League. Chelsea dropping to 10th, meaning that they will be missing out on European football altogether, which would be absolutely catastrophic for Chelsea and for their ownership. Are we going to see a spike in Chelsea now and a reaction as Gusto was trying to get there, but Mukiele comes across on that near side with a sliding challenge, and it's a perfect challenge which those Sunderland fans enjoyed as they cheer that like that's a goal. As we're about to hit the 28th minute, it is Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0. If you've just come back to tune into this one on Premier League Live or even on the TalkSport app, Trey Hume with the right-footed volley, low pass, Robert Sanchez found the back of the net and has given Sunderland the lead here in this battle for Europe. Sunderland never before in their history have qualified for Europe via their league place, but that could be about to change. But Brighton, as it stands, drawing Manchester United, so it means they've got Europa League football alongside Bournemouth. And I tell you what, not even the most ardent of football fans or even football gamblers could have anticipated that Sunderland, Bournemouth and Brighton could be playing in Europe next season. But as it stands, that is happening. Unless Chelsea can change that, Sunderland simply have to win for that to be the case, and they're doing just that, as it would mean Conference League football for Régis Le Bris' team. No other goals in the other games in the Premier League. It is Burnley 0, Wolves 1, Fulham 1, Newcastle 0, Man City 1, Aston Villa 0, Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0 here. Every other game not mentioned means it is goalless. On now with Cole Palmer on the near side. Quiet so far. Player, of course, who put out a statement to say he was disappointed that he didn't make the England squad. It was maybe a bit of a surprise to some that he didn't make Thomas Tuchel's team for the World Cup in US, Mexico and Canada. On now with Enzo Fernandez, now to Yoro Hato. Cucurella, those three players will be going with their nations respectively, you'd imagine. Caicedo now getting it midway through the Sunderland half of the pitch. Enzo, right-footed to the feet of Gusto. Hatto, Palmer, off now Hatto. Bit of a heavy touch and then just sent clear by the Sunderland defence. And Luzaro Hertreida, the man on loan from RB Leipzig. A player who has actually been of interest of several other Premier League sides, given how well he's done for Sunderland when he's had to step into the team. He then sends it down the line. Lovely touch by Enzo Lafia, a man who is absolutely loved round here. Was given glowing praise by his teammate Luco 9 this week. Now Xhaka through the middle. On now to Nilson Anguilla, the Ecuadorian. Is he going to try and drop his shoulder? Go on the inside of Gusto. Away to his right. Still has it here, does Anguilla. Has to turn back though with his back to Robert Sanchez. Now to Reinildo. Wanting it and getting it was Trey Hume, but then sliding in was Joao Pedro. Just didn't quite have enough power on the pass there, did Reinildo, as the challenge was made by Joao Pedro. Half an hour has now passed here at the Stadium of Light, in which Chelsea visiting this stadium for the first time since December 2016. It's the same year, of course, they last won their Premier League crown under Antonio Conte, and Cesc Fabregas would score the only goal for Chelsea, in which, of course, they were going to win the league that season, and Sunderland would go on to be relegated under David Moyes, and it would take them 8 years to get back. As mentioned, 8 years it has been to this point. On now with Hume, the pass has gone now through to him, and that's to Brian Brobby, who will get there, right side of the penalty area, taking the shot on, and into the side netting as Robert Sanchez just sees it fly low past him. He did have his near post covered there, did the Chelsea goalkeeper, but it was a simple pass through the middle. Chelsea's midfield were nowhere at all, as it was far too easy. Went through to Trey Hume, and then the shot came in from Brobby. Maybe he was just trying to see if it would get underneath Sanchez or even beat him, and it didn't at all, as Chelsea's goalkeeper happily didn't have to make any sort of save and wouldn't be picking the ball out of the back of the net. As his ball goes towards Pedro Neto, is screaming at Robert Sanchez. Callum McFarlane clapping, likes the idea of Sanchez playing that pass, but it was too high for Pedro Neto. Didn't like that at all, and certainly let Sanchez know what he felt with that pass that was made. Robin moves now on the edge of his own area, now has the ball at his feet. On now with 09. Now Brobby back to goal, about 40 yards out, turning, and then challenged by Levi Colwill, whose goal last year secured Champions League football for Chelsea in that win at Nottingham Forest. Has missed large parts of the season due to recovering from a long-term knee injury. Is now back in the Chelsea side and has actually had a couple of games towards the end of the season as Chelsea's number 6, in which he played against Liverpool in that time. That was his only start. He also did, of course, feature in another game as well, which was against Nottingham Forest, I think. And Sunderland got themselves a free kick. Xhaka left-footed through the middle. Sanchez came out, but it missed him as Wesley Fofana has put the ball over his own crossbar, and out for a Sunderland corner kick. There's a bit of a miscommunication there. The ball did not bounce through to Sanchez, who came out. Fofana, though, was maybe not sure himself and did touch it over his own bar. Luckily for him, it didn't end up going in his own net, or otherwise that would have been a total disaster, and it would have seen Sunderland go into a 2-0 lead, as they've got a corner over this left-hand side. Not Xhaka taking this, it's going to be Enzo Lafia who is going to be taking this. It will be a right-footed delivery as they attack the goal away to my left, as it will be Lafia who takes it all the way to the back post, and it's met by Sunderland. It was Mukiele who met it straight there to Enzo, who's then got his bearings and then sends it high and away out of his penalty area. Robin Roos lets it bounce and just slices it out of play away to his left and on the near side for a Chelsea throw, and a chance for Chelsea to sort of maybe just calm things down, as they now will go over to take this throw in, which is taken under control by Pedro Neto. Gusto, and Guyo is trying to win the ball back, as is Enzo Lafia, who's actually got the touch, and it will be once again a Chelsea throw in which Sunderland have enjoyed themselves here at the Stadium of Light. As mentioned, they have only tasted success in one of their 6 games, and that was against Tottenham on the 12th of April. Since then, they've suffered defeats to Liverpool, Fulham, Brighton and Nottingham Forest, and then they had that draw in their penultimate home game of the season in that 0-0 draw against Manchester United. Winning here though with nearly 35 minutes on the clock. Listen to this one on Premier League Live and on the TalkSport app. Sadiki now to the feet of Nilsson and Gool. They're going to go 1v1 against Malo Gusto. They're giving him no room on the inside, takes him on the outside anyway. His shot was one that Gusto slides in and gets a block off. As now Pedro Neto is trying to clear this away. He's hit it against Enzo Laffi, and it will be a Chelsea throw as Sunderland are just so intent on trying to get that ball quickly towards their attacking players and really ask questions of the Chelsea defence, which they have done on a number of occasions. And also, even better than that, test Robert Sanchez, which they've managed to do on a couple of occasions. But the only goal of the game has come from Trey Hume, which he managed to score on the volley. It was flicked on from a Roos long ball by Luke O'Nien. He then flicked on and Trey came onto it, just let it drop and just gently got it past Robert Sanchez, who flung to his right to try and stop it going in. But his efforts were all in vain, and you could only see the ball just trickle in past him as Sunderland are in front, which happened of course in the 26th minute. Brobby battling away with Fofana. He was pulled on. Brobby didn't go down, but has got the free kick anyway. Chris Kavanagh spotting it and giving it. And as Wesley Fofana seems to be the Chelsea player tasked with trying to keep Brobby quiet, and he did have his left arm underneath the shin of Brian Brobby there as he was just pulling on him and virtually giving him no room to turn or even play a pass as the free kick is taken quickly into Brobby inside the Chelsea penalty area. Does the ball strike the arm of Wesley Fofana? The Chelsea centre-back certainly didn't know a lot about it from what I could see in real time. As Chelsea clear it, Neto goes down. Chris Kavanagh does give Chelsea the free kick. He let it run for just a few seconds, but he has now decided to give it Chelsea's favour. As now with that ball going in Chelsea's favour, the Sunderland players can ask questions of Chris Kavanagh, the referee, as to why they've not been given a handball against Wesley Fofana. It was him and Brobby battling. Brobby let it bounce right across him. He let it ride and run himself. And then Fofana just was trying to get in front of him, just hits his arm. It's not one that he's moved his arm into at all. Chris Kavanagh told by Matt Donoghue on VAR that it will not be a penalty. They won't need to change the on-field decision, as he is explaining the reasons why that penalty hasn't been given to Granit Xhaka, the Sunderland skipper, who nods his head and moves away as the game now restarts. Goal in the game between Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. Remember, Bournemouth could be a side in the Champions League next season. Nottingham Forest on a pretty good unbeaten run themselves in the league. Morgan Gibbs-White certainly not let the fact that he did get picked for England and Thomas Tuchel affect him at all, as he's the man who has put Nottingham Forest in the tricky trees in front against the Cherries of Bournemouth. So they have the lead in the final game of the season between them two. Still 1-0 here, as we're yet to really see, barring Cole Palmer's tame low shot saved by Robin Roos, any threat whatsoever from Chelsea. Time for that to change. Caicedo now with the ball at his feet. On now to Malo Gusto. Out wide now to Pedro Neto. May look to try and get a run here going at Reinildo. Just slows it down. Neto is now playing on this near side. On now to Malo Gusto. Left-footed ball into the centre. Joao Pedro with the header. And wide it goes. Enzo was the Chelsea player alongside him. I think Joao Pedro has gone to head that into the far corner away to Robin Roos, left-hand side. It's just gone past the post as Chelsea have their second chance of the afternoon, and one that Joao Pedro can't get on target. It was a beautiful ball in by Malo Gusto. Joao Pedro escaped his marker, was free inside the box, but he just could not get that header into the corner in of Robin Roof's goal, and it went wide, and that's a bit of a let-off for Sunderland. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Brighton are trailing to Manchester United, so Sunderland have moved up a place into 7th, and that means Europa League football. Manchester United in front with Patrick Dorgu scoring in that game. On now to Brobby, trying to flick it away from Levi Colwill. Brobby goes down. There was shout to the penalty again. Levi Colwill doesn't do anything wrong, says the referee, despite the fact that he did touch Brobby, but it wasn't enough to warrant a penalty, as Mukiele this time makes a challenge on Joao Pedro. He then does the motion to the referee to say he got the ball, but Chris Kavanagh not interested otherwise. It's just inside Chelsea's half of the pitch, as they will have this free kick to restart the game, as they see the replay of the challenge from Colwell on Brobby. There is hands in the back, but not enough of a push, as I think Brobby is certainly trying to give as good as he gets. Don't really see a lot wrong with that with Colwell, as he does certainly put a left arm in the back of Brobby, no question about it. So with Brighton losing, they drop to 8th, Sunderland go to 7th, and mean that they will be in the Europa League, joining Bournemouth as it stands. Remember, Liverpool have not scored in their game against Brentford, which means that it will just be 5 teams playing in the Champions League. Still for Bournemouth, they'll be absolutely delighted anyway by the fact that they are, of course, in European football the first time in their entire history. And for Sunderland, as well, as I mentioned, not since the 1970s have they played in Europe. And it could be their fans booking flights and getting a few pages in their passport stamped as it stands. On now with Palmer, left-footed on now to Moises Caicedo. We're into the latter stages of this first half here at a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon here on Tyneside. Sunderland in front, courtesy of Trey Hume's strike. It has given them the lead. Enzo now to Cucurella. Does feel a bit of a different feel now to Chelsea in these last couple of minutes. Palmer now moving over to the far side, just roaming freely for the time being. Looking to try and get away from Trey Hume. He has to play it short now to Enzo. Right-footed ball in. Neto was trying to touch it in. He went for it with his left foot, but it's just skidded away from him as he was lurking at the back post, trying to get some sort of a touch from Enzo's wonderful, wicked ball in, as it just evades him. João Pedro was the player just before Pedro Neto, who was going for it himself, as João Pedro is helped back up to his feet by Reinildo. The Brazilian striker, of course, did go off in the FA Cup final against Manchester City. That meant that he didn't play a part in the win against Tottenham Hotspur, in which he missed out completely. It was a very youngish looking Chelsea bench. They had the likes of Jesse Derry, Ryan Kavuma McQueen and Shim Yuka on the bench. 3 players, of course, that Callum McFarlane knows very well from being the under-21s head coach in the early part of the season. Jesse Derry is on the Chelsea bench. Remember, of course, his dad Sean, I should say, is someone, of course, you would have heard regularly as a co-commentator on Premier League Live right throughout the season. Robert Sanchez now has the ball inside his own half. Along the floor, out wide now to Malo Gusto, the Chelsea right wing back, away from Nilson Angulo, trying to win the ball as he's trying to get it off him. Caicedo turning, facing his keeper Sanchez. It takes a couple of touches, short to the feet now of Cole Palmer, coming short to get it. On now to Malo Gusto. Chelsea look a little bit better in possession. Neto around the corner, beautiful flick to Malo Gusto, pulled on by Nilson Angulo, who I think is going to be the first player on any side to be shown a yellow card this afternoon, and that is exactly the case. He can have no complaints, as there was an attack developing on Sunderland's near side. Neto to Gusto, after Gusto gave it to Neto originally, and then he pulls on Gusto. Angulo committing the foul as he's shown a yellow card. A player, remember, who was signed from Belgian football, signed from Anderlecht in the January window. One of a number of buys Sunderland have made right across the last 12 months. As Pedro Neto is now just having to redo his boot up, those bright blue boots, which of course very much colour coordinated to the colour of the jersey he's wearing this afternoon. Scores as it stands in the Premier League, all 0-0 barring Brighton Manchester United. Brighton 0, Manchester United 1, Burnley 0, Wolves 1, Fulham 1, Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1, Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 0, and also here Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0. Chelsea tried to take the free kick short. Chris Kavanagh tells Chelsea and Enzo to get the ball back a few more yards as they tried to play that not in the right position. He takes his short inside to Caicedo. Enzo gets it back, right-footed ball, curling it in, it's low, doesn't beat the first man, it's away by Brobby, back defending as we're approaching the final 90 seconds of normal time. Palmer on the near side, along the floor with pace to Caicedo, now to Yorel Hato, left-footed ball centrally high, looking towards Palmer, it's away by Siddiqui, who's back defending. Malo Gusto trying to keep it alive for Chelsea, trying to poke it through to Cucurella, but Sunderland get it clear. Now Lafay on that towards Brian Brobby, doesn't go down as Caicedo tries to wrestle with him. Brobby, though, is a difficult man to get down. He's a real physical presence up there for Sunderland, despite the fact he's not the tallest player in the world. Lafay now onto Trey Hume, already got one this afternoon, but he's not close to getting a second as he was off balance, takes the shot on and wide of Robert Sanchez's goal it goes. He sees it away to his left and well wide of the goal. Massive news I'll be bringing you shortly at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the game against Everton, and also as well massive news at Selhurst Park. Remember, Crystal Palace and Arsenal got European finals on the horizon, in which there's been a goal there. I'll tell you about that one very shortly, and I'll also tell you about what has happened at the Amex as well, as there's goals going in towards the end of the first halves in those 3 matches. Sunderland lead Chelsea here by a single goal to nil, in which Trey Hume's goal has put Chelsea behind in this game, but has put Sunderland in front. Sunderland started today in 10th, just inside the top half of the table and just outside the European places. Chelsea were 8th, clinging on to the Conference League, but with them losing and trailing, it's meant Sunderland are in European football and have gone up 3 places into 7th in the table because Brighton are losing in their game. They're now trailing by 2 goals to nil in their game against Manchester United. Dorgu got the first. The second is eminently scored by Bryant and Burmo. And in the relegation battle, Tottenham Hotspur leading against Everton at a ground where they've won just twice this season, yet to win in a calendar year. João Paulinho has scored against the Toffees that mean that Tottenham are edging closer to Premier League safety and consigning ever closer West Ham to Championship football, ending their 14-year stay in the top flight as they look to be joining Wolves and Burnley in the Championship for next season. And also as well, just to add as well, Arsenal in front at Crystal Palace. A much changed side for the champions. They lead at Selhurst Park as Gabriel Jesus has scored, with Gabriel Martinelli getting the assist for that, as Arsenal lead the newly crowned champions. Well, they'll get their trophy today. 2 additional minutes at the end of this first half here at the stadium. And like, listen to this one on the TalkSport app and on Premier League Live. It is Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0. On now to Nilson Angulo, trying to get away from Malo Gusto, who does get a touch to it in Chelsea's defence. Send it clear. 9 with a little chest into Reinildo. So as it stands, it will be Europa League for Bournemouth and Sunderland, Conference League for Brighton, and it will be just 5 teams of England in the Champions League, which will be Arsenal, Man City, Manchester United, Aston Villa and Liverpool. Brentford and Chelsea missing out on European football altogether. It's gone off the chest of Gusto. One there by Angulo. Now on towards Noah Siddiqui. On now to Lafi inside. 2 Chelsea players go for the challenge. It's Fofana who comes out and wins the ball for Chelsea. Caicedo first time on now to Pedro Neto, who's now been closed down by both Mukiele and Reinildo. Mukiele catches Neto. The Chelsea coaching staff, Callum McFarlane and his assistant Harry Hudson, weren't too happy about that. It's Mukiele and Pedro Neto having a bit of a set to after that challenge by the French defender. Neto and Mukiele not letting it go, as both just want to get the last word on this. Reinildo just trying to get Mukiele away from that situation, as Chris Kavanagh is trying to calm things down. Mukiele does eventually walk away as they exchange a war of words, as Neto was caught by Mukiele, just took his left ankle away as he was trying to beat Mukiele there. Neto, he flicked it under his legs and said see you later, but Mukiele said no you won't, as it will be a Chelsea free kick just a few yards infield from the near side, as it will be Neto who will be possibly taking this for Chelsea. Mukiele now in conversation with Chris Kavanagh. Neto jogging away, going into a more central position to allow Enzo to take this, who's now just putting the ball onto the turf, just trying to make sure he can send this ball in, potentially as well lead to a Chelsea equaliser, what would probably be the last chance of the first half. It will be Enzo who will take it. Looks up, sees the blue shirts in there, but he doesn't find any of them at all as it's headed away by Angulo, and Chris Kavanagh's whistle blows for the end of the first half. When in a game between 2 sides battling for a place in Europe next season, it is Sunderland who are closing in on not just European football, but as it stands, Europa League football to be more precise. Trey Hume's goal. Robin Roos with the ball forward into the Chelsea half, flicked on by Luke O'Nien, and the ball just dropped, and Trey Hume on the volley just cushioned it beyond Robert Sanchez, flinging to his left, could do nothing to keep it out. Sunderland have been the better of the 2 at the break, as it does seem as though there's a few Chelsea players wanting a word with Nordi Mukiele. I wonder if that's going to continue to develop down the tunnel, but it's half-time here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0.
Score there. have to hope that Everton get two in the second half, without reply, of course. Here we're still playing, but we're very close to the half-time whistle as Christian Norgard picks up the ball in centre midfield. The whistle's blown by Farai Halam. Arsenal celebrating their title exploits with the lead at half-time given to them by Gabriel Jesus, who spurned a hat-trick of chances which he should have buried, but then finally, with the most difficult of them all, scored 3 minutes before half-time. And half-time here is Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 1 on Premier League Live.
TalkSport Podcast League. Outspoken, the best of White and Jordan.
Now available in one unmissable daily podcast.
He's going to be in charge for a considerable period of time. It's a load of old pony.
The final word on the final scores with Jim Mighty White.
I really mean this with sincerity.
And Simon the Saint Jordan.
What on earth have you got? I think I look like the Saint. I think it's a Simon Temple outlook. I expected to hear the
Outspoken, out now.
Listen or download for free from your favourite podcast portal.
TalkSport Superstar Breakfast.
You wake up late for work, man, you don't want to go. Because Brazil and Paula haven't finished their show. Pump up the volume and make lots of noise. You're listening to the Breakfast Beastie Boys. You gotta fight for your rights to follow.
The original ill communication from the Breakfast Party Animals. Alan Al Rock Brazil and Ray Party Paula on the TalkSport Superstar Breakfast every Friday morning from 6.
Whoa, yeah.
The TalkSport app. Yeah, the TalkSport app. Swipe left for TalkSport 2.
Und get in-depth interviews, the latest team news und all the sporting best bits.
Swipe right for TalkSport.
Get unmissable kick-by-kick commentary of over 400 games of wunderbar live football across the season. Ah, das ist gut.
Give your phone
Der Finger.
the TalkSport app.
Zwei Finger so invented.
What are you waiting for? Download it from your app store. TalkSport Drive. Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport.
TalkSport Drive with me, Darren Bent, and me, Andy Goldstein.
Sports radio that's guaranteed to go the distance.
Move up through the gears with all the day's sports.
Daily football debates, plus a bootload of banter.
Watch the lights, release the clutch, drive!
TalkSport Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport.
The fastest football on the way home. That's going to come back to haunt me, that one, isn't it?
It's another day of box office football here on TalkSport. So let's have a quick rundown of today's blockbusting lineup. In midfield, it's Anthony Flash Gordon.
Get heroic coverage of every epic clash.
Morgan Buck Rogers.
On the radio station that knows, with great power comes great responsibility.
And Martin Oder, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, these are the nights when heroes are made, where history will be written.
Also, Kyle Skywalker.
Magnificent counter-attack.
And Tyrone Mings the Merciless.
Supporters assemble. Captain's goal.
TalkSport.
Welcome back. Champions Arsenal leading by a goal to nil at Selhurst Park. But the story is not really here. The story is elsewhere, where on a nail-biting final day of the Premier League, we can bring you all of the action that has happened so far.
The whistle goes. Armstrong steps up to it with his right foot and sends it into the back of the net. Wolves take an unlikely lead away at Burnley with only their 10th away goal of the season. 5 minutes on the clock. Burnley 0, Wolves 1. Looks like it's struck towards goal. It hit the bar, and then the header is in from Diop, and Fulham leads. Well, what a strange goal. The free kick was from a country mile away from the goal. It hits the crossbar, it comes out, and Issa Diop, of all people, is there to cushion a simple header into the corner past Nick Pope. Salah and Soboslai stand over this free kick. It's Salah! Oh, he strikes the post, and the rebound is hammered over by Gravenberg. Well, it's the closest we've come to a goal this afternoon. Mohamed Salah with the free kick. He comes in from the left-hand side. It's not the best of clearances, and
and hooked in by Antoine Semenyo. The corner driven towards the near post. It got flicked away by a Villa head, but not far enough.
The shot is in from Trey Hume, and Sunderland are in front. You have to say they thoroughly deserved the opening goal in this game.
Can be rolled off for Morgan Gibbs-White. Oh, with a daisy cutter that finds the bottom corner. Morgan Gibbs-White breaks the deadlock at the City ground. A superb season for the Forest skipper, and one that slightly dents the Champions League hopes and dreams of Bournemouth.
It's the captain, Bruno Fernandes, over this corner. Then he a jostling in the area. Right-footed it goes in from Fernandes off the bar and it's in. United take the lead through Patrick Dorgu. And the cries aren't necessarily about Dorgu from the away fans, it's about Bruno Fernandes.
Here's Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus again, and this time he has found the net. Well, he's had 3 previous chances that have gone begging, but that's what strikers do.
It's going to be swung in by Tell, deep towards the back post. Headers go up, it's off the upright, and it falls down in front of goal. Was it cleared over the line? The referee says yes. Listen to that. Just listen to that. That is the sound of 60,000 sighs of relief in North London. João Paulinho, Tottenham's hero on final day.
Finds a ball into Mason Mount, cut across to Mbeumo. Oh, the nightmare is becoming a reality for Brighton and Hove Albion, because Mbeumo has made it 2 minutes before the break.
Incidentally, Manchester United leading 2-0 at Brighton significantly. There was a 21st assist for the Footballer of the Year, Bruno Fernandes. That is a Premier League record, which was previously held by Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry. So congratulations to him. I'll run through all the scores for you at the interval. Brighton 0, Manchester United 2, as you've heard. Burnley 0, Wolves 1. Here, Palace 0, Arsenal 1, Fulham 1, Newcastle 0, Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, Manchester City 1, Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 0, Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Everton 0, and West Ham United 0, Leeds United 0. That means, as it stands, West Ham will be relegated, Tottenham will survive and will finish for the 2nd season running in 17th place, just enough. At the top, Liverpool will finish 5th if they draw against Brentford. Bournemouth and Sunderland would be in the Europa League, and Brighton, despite losing at Manchester United, would go into the Conference League unless Brentford can get a win at Liverpool, in which case they would supplant them, as indeed could Chelsea if they win at Sunderland, where they're currently losing. It's all conjecture at the moment, Chris, but well, let's start with Tottenham. That goal by João Paulinho, absolute gold dust for them. It's going to be well not impossible. It's looking close to impossible for West Ham now.
It does. It's very difficult, isn't it? Firstly, you're looking at Everton scoring 2 goals, which is going to be the difficult thing, and you've got to find a goal yourself, and you know that dressing room at the moment must be in a really low place. And can Nuno lift his players and at least get them to win their game? They have to make sure
they've got to win.
that.
They've got to win, and then hope for a miracle.
Yeah.
Sunderland currently 7th. They will be heading into the Europa League. Most people, including myself, predicted that they would be relegated back in August, and yet here they are, 7th position, not just qualifying for Europe, but qualifying for the 2nd competition, alongside Bournemouth, who not so long ago nearly went out of the entire Football League and went bust. It's absolute fairy tales for those two sets of fans.
Absolutely, both of those sides never have thought that they'd be. Bournemouth Bournemouth have been in the Premier League now. They've established themselves. They've got better and better with every season. But what an achievement that would be. At Sunderland in their first season to get into Europe would be absolutely brilliant. And then obviously Brighton are also in the Europa Conference League spot at the moment as well. But that could change. But that could be Brentford and any of those clubs.
Yeah,
it's an absolute fairy tale that they'd be in Europe.
And at the moment, no Europe for Chelsea, no Europe for Newcastle United, no Europe obviously for Tottenham Hotspur. Big names who would expect to be. I mean, you know, the idea of not being in any European competition, given the background and the size and the wealth of those clubs, is absolutely unthinkable, really.
It really is. I mean, obviously, Chelsea have won the Champions League in the not too distant future.
2021.
And you know, Tottenham were playing in the Champions League this season. And obviously won the Europa League last season.
I mean, and Newcastle United were in the Champions League this season as well. So, I mean, there's a very real probability. Well, it is a probability now that those three clubs, or Newcastle and Tottenham, are dead and buried, and Chelsea could join them. And as we mentioned before, Xabi Alonso's got quite a job at Chelsea to try and sort of restore a degree of equilibrium, because their form is terrible, and they could be down finishing in 10th place in the Premier League, which would be so far below what they would consider to be acceptable. Anyway, here at Selhurst Park, it's a rather more cosy and sunny and joyful occasion, really. And Arsenal are leading by a goal to nil against Crystal Palace, and we've got the second half coming up live.
Previously on White and Jordan. I don't think there should be a transfer. Now, I know you do with your ghastly little yellow tie twice a year.
Adrenaline-fueled, fiery exchange.
All right, it's funny how I was mentioned virtually in the same sentence as the slugs of the world.
Danger, overhead live wires.
Kevin De Bruyne is brilliant. He was able to negotiate £385,000 a week on his own. Oh, well done, Pythagoras.
Highly charged, highly opinionated, highly recommended.
White and Jordan, weekday mornings from 10 on the world-famous Talk Sport.
Mr. Burnley, you have 60 seconds to answer your questions. The famous Silk Road corridor connecting Landi Kotal to the Valley of Peshawar is known as the Khyber what?
Oh, I don't know. I ain't got a clue. Pass.
Correct.
What?
To undergo an inspection, test or course of study successfully is to what?
I don't know. Pass.
Correct.
What?
The number one hit single, pop group Musical Youth, did what on the left-hand side to the Duchy?
Don't know this either. Don't know. Pass again. Pass.
Correct.
Huh?
Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor on the TalkSport Superstar Breakfast.
Breakfast radio that passes first time.
Thursday mornings from 6 on TalkSport.
The TalkSport app. Ja, the TalkSport app. Swipe left for TalkSport 2.
Und be first past the post mit Supersonic Live Horse Racing.
Swipe right for TalkSport.
Mit Bundesliga Live Commentary of the biggest Europa and Champions League showdowns.
Alles klar?
Give your phone
the finger.
The TalkSport app.
What are you waiting for? Download it from your app store now.
TalkSport Drive.
Weekday afternoons from 4 on TalkSport.
With me, Darren Bent, and Andy Goldstein.
Unrivaled, opinionated comment from the biggest names in sports.
Insane acceleration, outstanding pace, next generation slipstream sport.
High performance afternoon radio with more goal talk.
The Sunderland players are out for the second half. The Chelsea players are going to be following suit very, very shortly. As it stands, Sunderland are 45 minutes away from playing in Europe for the first time this century. For the first time since the have greatly against Chelsea, not since May 2016. One in the last 13 of Sunderland beat Chelsea at this place. This came courtesy of a 3-2 win under Sam Allardyce, which was a massive result as they, of course, achieved their own feat of staying up a decade ago. As it is Sunderland who get the second half underway as they go from left to right in this second half in their red and white striped shirts, black shorts, black socks. Chelsea in their blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks. It appears though there are no changes at the break as Slippery is in conversation with one of his members of his coaching staff in his seat in the dugout in the Stadium of Light. Levi Colwell will take this kick short to Robert Sanchez. The man who just took the kick. Levi Colwell gets it back along the floor. Looking out of him to João Pedro, who was a shadow in that first half. Didn't really get him involved as much. He had that header in the second half. Towards the end of the first half, which was one they put wide. Through now to Brian Proper. You see, can he make it 2-0? It's straight at Robert Sanchez. Disappointing finish by the Dutch forward, who had a lot of time to think about what he wanted to do. But Sanchez was in the way and just got his right foot in the way of it to deny him. As that would have been a goal that would have put Sunderland further in front and on their way towards European football. As Lafay with a beautiful ball to Brobbey. It looks as though Malo Gusto is trying to step up and play Brobbey offside, actually plays him onside. But Brobbey went low, didn't really have the power, didn't have the accuracy to take it away from the Spaniard in the Chelsea goal. He gets in the way of it and denies Brobbey and Sunderland the second goal. Maybe you're listening to this one on Premier League Live and on the TalkSport app. We're nearly 2 minutes in. It is Sunderland 1, Chelsea 0. In this one here at the Stadium of Light, in a battle between two sides competing for European football. Colwell looking towards João Pedro, but it's a Sunderland player in the way of it. Now Brobbey, it's 4 Sunderland players against 2 Chelsea players at the moment. It's Chelsea trying to get players to help out with the existing defenders there. And Guyo just saw the ball run away from him. It was a bit of a letdown in the end from him. It was promising the attack, but it just sort of never really developed after he was given the pass from Brian Brobbey. It looked really worrying for Chelsea at one stage. As I said, it was a 4v2 that was brewing, and then the pass made to Nilsson Anguilla was one that just saw him slow down. He just didn't release the ball or couldn't find anybody in red and white to continue the attack and get closer to Sanchez's goal. Caicedo out wide now to Pedro Neto. Reveal the two sides at the start of this second half shortly. Neto, little step over, going on the inside of Reinildo, the left back, left-footed ball in, and it's over the head of Cucurella, who just is unable to get anything on it. As we know, he's quite a diminutive player, the Chelsea left wing back, but went over his head and seen out by Robin Roos in the Sunderland goal for a goal kick. So the team's then Sunderland 4-2-3-1. Roos in goal. Defence here: Treider, Mukiele, O'Nien and Reinildo. Xhaka, Siddiqui, Hume, Lafay, Anguilla, Brobbey. The subs: Elbori, Sirkin, Rigg, Mayonda, Alderete, Isidore, Diarra, Traore and Tabi. For Chelsea, 3-4-3. Sanchez in goal. Fofana, Colwell, Hato, the 3 at the back. Gusto, Cucurella, the wing-backs, Caicedo and Fernandez, the 2 in central midfield. Neto, João Pedro, Palmer, the 3 up front. Jorgensen, Dalap, Isugo, Santos, Chalobah, James, Achiampong, Garnacho, Derry, the subs for Chelsea. No changes made at the break. Ball in low by Xhaka, a little bit behind Brian Brobbey, who was in a central position inside the Chelsea box, but it's moved away from him, and then Enzo's pass is one that's gone and been played straight out of play for a Sunderland throw. He just put his arm in the air, frustrated by probably the weight of the pass he put on, and also the fact nobody was there, or even over on that far side of the pitch. He's just had that feel this afternoon for Chelsea in their possession and the approach they've had. Over now towards here, Treider. Little ball on towards the feet, might cut this back here, and he does. It's a Brobbey, but in anyway, and Sunderland now lead by 2-0. Malo Gusto, the unfortunate Chelsea player that has seen the ball come off him and go into his own net. And them Sunderland fans, get your passports out. You're going to be heading on a European tour, it seems. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 0, and them Sunderland fans are so desperate to be celebrating with their team, so much so that an advertising board has ended up collapsing. Away to my right-hand side, but an early goal in the second half has been scored by Sunderland, as now they lead by 2-0. Well, they've come out in this second half, continuing from where they left off in the first half. excellent player on the Chelsea left side here. Tryder is in so much space. Brobby does wonderful work to hold the ball off and hold off Levi Colwill. Tryder looks up into the fay. He then gets it across. Brobby should probably score. If Malo Gusto's not there, that ball's going wide. Brobby gets a real reprieve because the shot's going off target, as mentioned. It goes off Malo Gusto inside his own 6-yard box. It just comes off him. He can't do anything about it. It's an own goal, and Sunderland lead 2-0 here at home against Chelsea. They started the day outside the European places. The team they're facing and beating currently, Chelsea, were above them in the table, but not anymore. This second goal going in has sparked some wild scenes among some areas of the Stadium of Light. As Sunderland now, it was only a pipe dream when that first goal went in. It really is now becoming a reality that they may just be on their way to be playing in Europe next season. And it seems as though that stand has managed to get back up into its normal position. No Sunderland fan got hurt, luckily for everybody else. Inside that stand away to my right, just behind Robert Sanchez's goal. But my goodness me, how Chelsea made a horrendous start to this second half, and Sunderland now very much 10 feet tall. Reinildo taking it off Angulo. Angulo away to his left. Reinildo still driving on. He does flick it to Angulo, who's now away from Gusto. It is Angulo, but he is off target. He tries to find the far corner away to his right, and Sanchez is left, as it's one that won't see Sunderland go 3-0 up, but they really are enjoying themselves out here now. Confidence is flowing. As Angulo took the shot on, it was Fofana, the Chelsea player, went out to close him down. As Reece James is now coming on for Chelsea. Enough is enough, says Callum McFarlane, as Jorel Hato is the player to be replaced as Reece James goes on. The man, of course, who will be part of Thomas Tuchel's squad for the World Cup comes on. And it's only taken 7 minutes of the second half for Callum McFarlane to make a second half change, with Reece James, of course, now wearing the armband for Chelsea. And maybe we could see a change of shape, and maybe, just maybe, possibly see a different Chelsea with Reece James going on. By the way, as well, Luciano Tryder has been booked for Sunderland too. So that's happened in just the last few moments as the Sunderland fans are singing here, listening to this on Premier League Live. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 0 is the score here at the Stadium of Light. It's now on to Neto in space, driving inside to the Sunderland half of the pitch. He gets closer to the penalty area. He's now inside the Sunderland area, right side of it. Joao Pedro lets it run across his chest. Good Correa on the edge, left-footed ball high in there. And then it's chested on through to Robin Roos by Granit Xhaka, who was able to probably hear his goalkeeper say, "You've got that time to do it," as he was able to just gently knock it into him. And that sees the ball go to Robin Roos. But for Sunderland, well, the words probably from Regis Labrie would have been, just continue what we were doing from the first half, carry from where we left off. And that is exactly proved to be the case, as they have a 2-0 lead in their game. And there are plenty of other goals that have happened in the various matches in the Premier League. There's still some, of course, still half-time, given, of course, that some did end maybe later than this one did at the Stadium of Light in the first half. As Brian Brobby is down, he got a little touch from Wesley Fofana, who may have caused them to have been in a real tussle throughout this game. And it's just seemingly getting no better for Chelsea at the moment. Coming to this with just 1 win in 8 in the Premier League. It's now going to be 17 games since they last kept a clean sheet. Remember, they didn't play in Europe in the 23-24 campaign. It's now going to be a second season in 4 that under the Blue Co ownership, they're not going to be in European football. They were mainstays where it was the Champions League or the few years they had in the Europa League, but they really are struggling now to get into Europe despite all the money that they've invested in it, a team seemingly. But Xabi Alonso has got a lot of work to do with. And Sunderland got this free kick with Lafille taking it. Remember, Fofana fouled Brobby and was actually shown a yellow card, the first Chelsea player to go in the book. In by Mukiele into the centre. Cole meeting the header. It's not fully clear. O'Neill, left side of the penalty area, drilling it low. And it's held on to by Robert Sanchez, who holds on. As Reece James, member, came on in place of Jorel Hato in this second half, is now playing as a central midfield, and it looks as though now Callum McFarlane and Chelsea have gone to a back four potentially as well, so that could be something to keep your eye on as Cucurella's now pushed right up as well. Here is now Cole Palmer, 10 minutes gone in the second half. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 0. Caicedo central inside the Sunderland half of the pitch, about 25 yards out, forward short as well. Pedro back in through the legs of O'Neill, looking for Palmer, but only picks out Nilson Angulo, back helping out as he was playing as a centre-back for just a few temporary minutes. As it stands, West Ham relegated from the Premier League, joining Wolves and Burnley into the Championship. Tottenham surviving. We've got Bournemouth in the Europa League with Sunderland, Brighton in the Conference League as it stands. Villa, Liverpool, Man City, Man United are in the Champions League, and Cole Palmer has just pulled a goal back for Chelsea. Fired it from 20 yards out. It was a driven effort, caught it so well. Robin Roos seemed as though he saw it late. That left-footed drive, too good for Robin Roos, who gets a big old hand to it, and Chelsea have managed to pull a goal back from seemingly absolutely nothing, and it's come courtesy of Cole Palmer. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1, and just like that, the mood amongst the home ends of the stadium are like, maybe it's just changed with that goal going in from Cole Palmer, and it's one that Robin Roos won't want to see anytime soon. He gets down a little bit late, he can't push it behind him and out for a corner or back into play. Instead he pushes it into his own net as Cole Palmer has managed to just get Chelsea back in it, maybe with a glimmer of hope. Remember, should they not allow Sunderland to win this game, they still could have a chance of playing in Europe next season. On now with Palmer. Have Chelsea now got their tails up? Palmer looking up, a little bit too heavy on that pass. He was looking for Renzo. He's asking a lot of his teammate to get that ball under control firstly, and then to continue the attack. Throw-in taken by Colwell. Now on to Reece James. He now gives it to Caicedo. Right-footed ball out to the far side where Pedro Neto is taken under control. That was just Chelsea's second shot on target. Both of them have come from Cole Palmer. Remember, his other strike that he had on target was one that Robin Roos kept out, which he basically passed straight into him very early on in the first half. There's been goals elsewhere in the other games. It is Burnley 1, Wolves 1 at Turf Moor. Remember, Wolves went in front with Adam Armstrong scoring. Burnley now levelling that game with Zian Fleming scoring. As Callum McFarlane and Harry Hudson, his assistant in conversation, both standing up with their arms folded in the sort of Chelsea tracksuits that they are donning this afternoon. Elsewhere too in the Premier League, Palace now 2-0 down against Arsenal in their game. Arsenal member getting their title today. Noni Madueke scoring the second after, of course, Gabriel Jesus scored in the first half. Aston Villa equalised at the Etihad Stadium too, as now Angulo gets the left-hand side of the penalty area. Can he get past Colwell? Angulo does get the shot away, but it's hit the bottom post just underneath the side netting as Sunderland go close again, as Nilson Angulo does as well. He stayed onside, he stayed level with Colwell, who goes out to close him down pretty sharpish. Angulo left-footed on the way down, does get some sort of a shot away, but it does hit the lower tier of the side netting. Has this been a very frantic and frenetic second half? Palmer, Gusto on the outside of him. Palmer though still having it, holding off Siddiqui. Now Caicedo, Reece James, who's come on into midfield since replacing Hato. Cucurella, about 5 yards or so infield. Enzo, constantly looking in the penalty area to see where the next pass is. Has to play it sideways to his right to Caicedo. Now, on now towards Palmer. Up now towards Neto. Is he going to shape to cross? Waiting for the right opportunity to do so. Out to close him down is Reynildo. His cross though is central and held on by Robin Roos as the Sunderland fans belt out his surname as he's managed to collect the ball. Of course, he played some part in Chelsea getting a goal back in this game with that strike from Palmer, which he helped him. But we're nearly an hour gone here. 15 of the second half played. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1. Sunderland member took the lead in the first half with Trey Hume scoring. Then it was then 2-0 thanks to an own goal from Malo Gusto as he helped in Brobby's shot, which was going off target but off the French right wing back and in. And then Cole Palmer came inside 25 yards out, let fly a low pile driver which Robin Roos helped in, as that meant that it was 2-1 in this game and has given Chelsea some hope with some chance that they might pull this back. There's been a goal in the game as well between Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, which I'll tell you about shortly. Enzo Lafino has it around his own area, closed down by Enzo, blocks him off as Lafio's got the free kick for his side. Remember, Forest were winning that game against Bournemouth with Morgan Gibbs-White scoring, while there has now been a goal from Bournemouth courtesy of Marcus Tavernier. So 2 changes for Sunderland. The season's over for Brian Brobby and for Nilson Angulo. They will come off with just over an hour gone, as they will be replaced by Wilson Isidore and Habib Diarra respectively. Diarra on more specifically in place of Angulo, and Isidore on in place of Brian Brobby. Both of those players representing their nations at the World Cup to come. Isidore with Haiti, and Habib Diarra, we think, would be representing Senegal, who of course have got France in their World Cup group and could even be lining up potentially against Malo. Really does lose its heads and loses its cool for just a few brief seconds, as they are a team with a real bad disciplinary record. Trevor Chalobah is getting ready and waiting to come on into this game, as it will be a free kick for Sunderland. Will it be Lafitte or will it be Xhaka? Palmer and James in the wall. It will be Xhaka, left-footed, clips the ball into the back post, headed on in towards Diarra, who cannot put the ball in the net. He just didn't quite readjust himself, did he? Get himself in the right position to put that ball in. Wonderful floated delivery by Xhaka at the back post, heading it across, squaring the 6-yard box was Mukiele. Isidore was trying to put it in. It would go to Habib Diarra. It's just a real heavy touch off his midriff, and then it's one that he just can't quite put away into the net that would have put Sunderland 3-1 up and restore that 2-goal cushion, as the player sacrifice for Chalobah to go on is Pedro Neto. As we approach the 65th minute, where have these 20 minutes gone of this second half? As it is Sunderland who lead by 2-1, as there was a Chelsea touch from Habib Diarra trying to put that ball in the net. It will be a corner from the right. Xhaka will take it. Plenty of red and white inside the box. They're all around the 6-yard box. A couple of them are in there. Isidore is the only one for the time being. I think there might be a few more as Xhaka still waits to put this corner in with his left foot. He goes short though to Siddiqui, to the edge of the area. Chris Kavanagh blows his whistle. I think he may just be laying down the law here, maybe spotting something he doesn't quite like. Colwell and Enzo are around the referee, wondering what he's blowing up for. I think it might just be for some pushing and shoving before the ball's even come in. Chris Kavanagh was positioned on the edge of the area. He's got a front row seat of what's going on. It was O'Nien and Colwell who were contesting, for Enzo who were contesting with each other. You had Reece James and Isidore both battling with two Sunderland players, and O'Nien and Isidore both going down. It was Enzo on O'Nien and it was James on Isidore. Chris Kavanagh was in conversation with Matt Donoghue as VAR to see if there was any fouls in there from Chelsea on any Sunderland player. There will be a corner here for Sunderland, which Xhaka will take. I think the short option is gone for now. It's still the pushing and shoving is going on. Chris Kavanagh very much doesn't want to keep his eyes off it. They go short again though, same way. In now to Lafay. Reynaldo centrally, clipping it right towards Siddiqui by the byline on the edge of the area. His pass though short to Xhaka is one that won't reach the Swiss midfielder as Pullman tries to take the free kick quickly for Chelsea. Chris Kavanagh pulls him up on it and it will be a second chance to take this free kick for Chelsea. As even before that ball has gone in, yet again there was some pushing and shoving. It was James again on Isidore. They've been given the man marking assignment, Enzo and James there, as it was O'Nien again who felt a little push from Enzo. Chelsea not afraid to get their hands all around the Sunderland players inside their own box. Chris Kavanagh though and his VAR and assistant Matt Donoghue and Eddie Smart were able to have all the angles in the world to see if there was anything wrong with it, and they concluded there was absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Palmer battling away on the far side with Lafay. Sunderland have now got it back. It is Liverpool 1, Brentford 1 at Anfield. There's been 2 goals scored in the second period of that game on Merseyside. Liverpool, remember, took the lead with Curtis Jones, and then Kevin Schade would equalise for Brentford in that game. You've still got a chance of European football. It's hit by Diarra, it's low. It's straight at Robert Sanchez, who dives down at the right time to hold on, not spill it or see it fly past him in any way. Timed it to perfection. Wasn't following on from what his previous goalkeeper Robin Roos did. Aston Villa have scored a second in their game at Man City. What a turnaround it is there at the Etihad as they now lead by 2-1. The newly crowned Europa League winners after that win against SC Freiburg in Istanbul on Wednesday night. Enzo playing it on that towards Joao Pedro, can't get there as Mukiele has nicked it away from him and cleared it towards the middle of his own half. Colwell onto Enzo, little knock into Reece James. Colwell now onto Trevor Chalobah. Nearly 70 minutes on the clock. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1 is the latest. Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Aston Villa, Liverpool in the Champions League. Bournemouth, Sunderland in the Europa League. Brighton in the Conference League. Chelsea and Brentford, the 2 missing out Europe altogether as it stands. Remember, Crystal Palace could be in Europe and in the Europa League if they win the Conference League on Wednesday against Rayo Vallecano. Remember, this is a game between Sunderland and Chelsea, listening to on Premier League Live and on the TalkSport app. Reece James goes down. Referee Chris Kavanagh felt it wasn't enough contact for James to go down from the little brush from Siddiqui. Battling away with Enzo is Diarra, and Enzo is shown a yellow card. Chris Kavanagh this time feels as though that Habib Diarra, and that was enough for a free kick to be given, as Enzo was maybe a little bit more all over Diarra. There's perhaps what's in the referee's thinking, as it will be a free kick as Enzo becomes the latest Chelsea player to have their name taken. They are down to 10 men after Wesley Fofana was sent off for a second bookable offence after he pulled on the shirt of Wilson Isidore. It's a bit unclear if it was him or Levi Carwell, but it was both of them. But Chris Kavanagh did pull it back for a Fofana foul on Isidore, which has now meant that Sunderland lead and also have 1 extra man on the pitch, which they hope to really make count. Beautiful angle ball by Xhaka onto Lafay. Now on to Mukiele, low in towards Diarra, shot blocked by Colwell in the way of it, too close to give it a handball, I think Chris Kavanagh will say. And then Diarra gives it to Mukiele, now it Lafitte, it's his turn now to keep it alive for Sunderland, ball in low in the 6-yard box to get in the way is Caicedo. Gusto and Palmer can't clear it for Chelsea, it's Lafitte been pushed out of the Chelsea penalty area, trying to back heel it through to Mukiele, but back to defend it and see the touch go off him is Cole Palmer. João Pedro doesn't get the free kick, he felt Renildo pulled on him. João Pedro screaming at Chris Kavanagh to say where's the free kick, but he doesn't get it, and it will be a free kick for Sunderland with the player going down being, I think, Habib Diarra, as he was caught, and it will be a Sunderland free kick, as it does look as though maybe the Chelsea players again are perhaps just somewhat looking to maybe make the referee's life easier in terms of getting yellow cards, as the replays show the potential shot of a handball against Levi Colwell. The strike from Diarra was one that Colwell blocked off. It was a good block as well. It was too close to give a penalty, to be fair. West Ham leading their game against Leeds, but it's not enough as Tottenham lead against Everton, remember. Whatever Tottenham do in their game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as long as they win, it doesn't matter what happens at the London Stadium. But West Ham winning, they need Everton to now score 2 in their game. Tati Castellanos with the goal at the London Stadium that has the lead over Daniel Farke's side. Free kick taken by Xhaka Lowen on the floor, all the way through. There's Robert Sanchez who holds on, and he takes the kick quickly. He slips though. Unfortunate for him, it's bounced off the head of Enzo. He's then gone to Cucurella, who's managed to keep that in. Enzo away from Mukiele. Now short to João Pedro on this near side. Carries on going. Down goes Hertrida, and it was Cucurella who blocked him off. Such a silly foul. Hertrida was just trying to get back, and Cucurella just went into the back of the Sunderland right back. I'm not really sure why he did that. He was trying to help the attack, and then, yeah, he just pulled on Hertrida there. Pretty stupid that from Marc Cucurella. As the free kick has been given in Sunderland's favour, as Régis Lebris looks on. And in the Premier League era, he could be the first Sunderland boss to take the Black Cats into Europe. Peter Reid, Roy Keane, Steve Bruce, Martin O'Neill, just to name a few, tried and couldn't get Sunderland in the European spots, but Régis Lebris is. As game gets back underway, and there is so much space on that side for Enzo Lafitte, and it now does reach him as Malo Gusto goes out to close him down. Lafitte hits it. It's well held onto by Robert Sanchez, and I think Chelsea's defence and goalkeeper are going to be expecting some chances coming towards their goal. There'll be a large volume of it as Chelsea try and break quickly through the middle. Granit Xhaka slides in and catches Reece James, and he just takes his yellow card and walks away. He knew that himself, that if he caught Reece James, he was going to be given a yellow card, as that was the case. As said earlier on, Aston Villa took the lead at the Etihad Stadium. They did so with a goal from Ollie Watkins. So Aston Villa leading there currently. Brighton 0, Manchester United 3, Burnley 1, Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2, Fulham 1, Newcastle 0, Liverpool 1, Brentford 1, Man City 1, Aston Villa 2, Forest 1, Bournemouth 1, Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1, Tottenham 1, Everton 0, West Ham 1, Leeds 0. So as it stands, it will be Arsenal, Man City, Man United, Aston Villa, Liverpool in the Champions League, Bournemouth and Sunderland in the Europa League, Brighton in the Conference League, West Ham going down with Burnley and Wolves. Remember, Sunderland do come into this having only scored 40 goals this season, the same number as Palace, which is the second lowest, or third lowest I should say. Burnley and Wolves had only scored fewer than their tally. As now Sunderland look for more. Here's now Lafitte trying to find Diarra, who was away to his right, but it was one that went straight to a Chelsea defender, and in the way of it was Levi Colwell. Now Gusto looking to try and find Palmer. Lovely pirouette away from Reinildo. Xhaka had to close him down. He's got to be careful, having already taken a yellow card. Palmer with the cross, but it doesn't go anywhere. And it's one that's blocked off Xhaka. Over on the far side now is Malo Gusto. Can he get the cross in with his right foot? Good challenge by Reinildo. Excellent defensive play that has kept Malo Gusto down on the ground. Chelsea may have to just stick someone in there to vacate the position left by Malo Gusto, as there is a Sunderland player down in Noah Siddiqui. Caicedo, I think, just putting an arm in there on Noah Siddiqui, who is down. Chris Kavanagh has been a little bit more busier in terms of making some on-pitch decisions and giving yellow cards when he's had to. And Siddiqui is now down. It was a ball that he played straight back to Xhaka, and then Moises Caicedo did just come across Siddiqui somewhat there and just left a bit of a challenge in on the Sunderland midfielder. Siddiqui back up to his feet, wanting the harshest punishment possible, I think, for Caicedo there, but the referee says no, and it will be a free kick for Sunderland. That's it, with Robin Roos about to take it. Left-footed ball, directed high. Gusto heads it off the back of Isidore. Gusto, they're able to fully clear it away and doesn't see the ball deflect off Isidore. Enzo Lafite. Isidore has got it back though as he's away from Caicedo. Chelsea appeal for a handball. Will Isidore get there? That's a really good defending by Malo Gusto. Just stands up well as Isidore goes down. Solid defensive work there by Malo Gusto, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick. 15 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1 at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland member took the lead in the game. 26 on the clock. Trey Hume scoring from a O'Nien flick on, which he finished off first time wonderfully past Robert Sanchez. They then went 2-0 up with Malo Gusto putting the ball in his own net after he deflected in Brian Bobry's shot. And then it was 2-1. Cole Palmer. Blink and you would have missed it. The strike from about 25 yards out flew in past Robin Roos, who tried his best to keep it up but couldn't do so. And then after Chelsea scored just a few minutes later, Wesley Fofana was sent off as Chelsea fell to 10 men, which has happened on more than one occasion this season as their rash discipline at times once again called into question for the wrong reasons. Enzo has it here now for Chelsea. Sunderland at the moment just happy to keep men back. Reece James on now with Trevor Chalobah. Came on as a second half sub in place of Pedro Neto to, of course, fill in for the red card change to Fofana. Through the gap to Caicedo. On now to Palmer. Palmer goes for it left-footed, but it's high and well away from the goal of Robin Roos. Attacking the goal away to my left, but it does not threaten whatsoever. That strike from Cole Palmer. Little give and go with Moises Caicedo. You would have backed Palmer there to at least got that shot on target, but it wasn't to be, as it's one that Robin Roos can just be quite calm from, as he's not having to make any sort of save at all. As Trey Hume has got his right knee into the turf and slowly gets himself back up. Maybe he's got a bit of a knock of some sort. Man who got the first goal of the afternoon for Sunderland. Forward by Mukiele. Trevor Chalobah gets up above Isidore and wins the header. Cucurella will go all the way back to Robert Sanchez. Well, I mentioned earlier, Chelsea come into this with the third best away record in the league. They have lost 7 times. They've been beaten by Man United, Leeds, Fulham, Arsenal, Everton and Brighton in the league. They haven't won on their last 3 on the road. The last win they got away was on the 4th of March, which was probably their real highlight in the season, when they've, of course, won away at Aston Villa by 4-1. Goals from Joao Pedro, a hat-trick, and Cole Palmer. They were really cementing themselves to be a team in Europe, but since then their form has completely gone right off a cliff. Sanchez with the kick, he goes low, it's straight though to Trey Hume, a Sunderland player, as he was trying to pick out Cucurella. Habib Diarra, now to Enzo Lafite. Now Diarra, right-footed to the feet now of Siddiqui. Isidore peeling over to his left-hand side. Diarra was blocked off, was he, by Chalobah. Isidore still plays on, but his effort is too high and away from Sanchez in the Chelsea goals. Caicedo is down, as is Habib Diarra. There was a bit of a collision between them two, as play will now maybe stop for some added treatment. And given the weather, it's not quite hot enough, despite the sun being out for a drinks break. There is probably various matches up and down the land and in the Premier League where the weather temperature is close to 30 degrees that warrants it, but we've yet to have one in this game. I don't think we will. That will be probably coming into effect in the World Cup in the next few weeks. Those regular drinks breaks where, of course, in the United States, Mexico and Canada, some of the temperatures can absolutely soar to eye-watering numbers. As we're into the final 10 minutes, as Sunderland fans look on, maybe some of them a little bit nervous and anxious with them only that 1 goal in front ahead of their opponents, Chelsea. They have had chances to kill it, to be fair of Sunderland. Chelsea have been down to 10 men since the 63rd minute or so. So they've had well over a quarter of an hour with an extra man on the pitch. As you're listening to this one on Premier League Live and on the TalkSport app, Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1 is the latest from the Stadium of Light as Colwill is caught by Habib Diarra, both contesting the ball. Diarra may have just caught Colwill on the follow through. Chelsea, I think, demanding Chris Kavanagh show some sort of a card to Habib Diarra. Granit Xhaka just telling Robert Sanchez, who's around the referee, it was a simple coming together, nothing more, just a collision. Diarra, yeah, does catch Colwill there. It is his studs on his right foot that do catch the ankle of Levi Colwill. Matt Donoghue, member, is on VAR, as is Eddie Smart, who is his assistant. So they are in the booth at Stockley Park just observing and checking any decisions that may need to see them jump in and help the referee. Not the case at the moment, as Diarra is shown a yellow card for, and it will be nothing more as Levi Colwill has just pulled up his sock, and it will allow a drinks break to come into play, albeit with Colwill now down. Now, quite a few replays of this challenge from Habib Diarra. They are ones that do maybe quite go onto that threshold where maybe he could be shown a red card somewhat. Maybe that does warrant it, but the referee decided not to do it as Liam Delap is ready in himself to come on for Chelsea here. Of course, his dad Rory had a year at Sunderland from January 2006 to 2007, and of course he then left to sign for Stoke under Tony Pulis. He played under Mick McCarthy at Sunderland, which of course they at the time had the lowest points record of 15 he played a part in, and of course that was beaten by Derby just 2 years ago after that. Levi Colwill is still down. Of course, he's a player who's been seriously unlucky with injuries. Just before the season kicked off, he of course had that injury, that ACL injury, which ruled him out for the bulk of the campaign. There were whispers that he might have made Thomas Tuchel's England squad, but that did seem a bit too far of an ask to happen, as hopefully Chelsea don't see that it's going to be an injury to rule him out at the rest of this game, and of course the rest of, or the next few months, as we've now had a couple of minutes since that injury to Levi Colwill where he's been needing treatment. He's back up to his feet, which is good to see. His sock is now back rolled up. Of course, remember, they have already brought on Chalobah, they've already brought on Reece James in this game as well. I think they're planning a couple more substitutions, as Reece James is seemingly screaming at the fourth official, Lewis Smith, as Colwill has been ushered off here. As Chelsea now are going to go down to 9 men. I think that's why Reece James is not too happy about that. Chris Kavanagh keen to try and get this game back underway as quickly as he can. As I said, there's going to be a couple more Chelsea changes. Looks as though Liam Delap is going to be coming on, as is, I think, Josh Achampong will be coming on. Remember, Liam Delap only 1 goal to his name in the Premier League for Chelsea. That came in the defeat at Craven Cottage in early January with Callum McFarlane in his first spell of interim charge. Still, we await for Chelsea Levi Colwill to return to the game. I think there might be a little bit of confusion as to who's coming off for who here, as now we get to find out. So for Chelsea, it will be Caicedo off for Liam Delap, who will be coming on for the final 6+ minutes. This one here at the Stadium of Light. And immediately he's in conversation with Joao Pedro. Malo Gusto is to be replaced by Josh Achampong, who has filled in as a right back throughout the campaign when he's needed to be asked. And he comes on in that position, or maybe even a right wing back position as well, as Chelsea of course go in search of trying to equalise. But they're now down to 9 for the moment with Colwill off the pitch. Of course, Fofana's red card has also meant that they have lost a man as well. On by Joao Pedro from Sanchez's kick. Looking for Delap. Mukiele though thinking about possibly giving it back to Robin Roos, but did just decide to knock it out of play and out of touch. As Chelsea have got themselves a corner on this near side, the left side, where Reece James is going to be taking this, those blue boots matching the shirt that he's wearing. And of course, on his left sleeve has got the captain's armband around it. There might be some nervous Sunderland fans around the stadium, like in the various sections of this place. As Reece James is going to take it, he's going to just send it into the 6-yard box at the near post. It's away by Granit Xhaka. Immediately Sunderland run out. Lafay is hitting against Cole Palmer. Xhaka then just sending it long, and it will be a throw-in for Chelsea as the ball went out first before it came back in play. Chelsea take the throw-in quickly on the near side. James getting it back from Enzo. Here is now Reece James, strike, deflects. It was moving, but just about into the hands of Robin Roos, who holds on. It did take a nick off a Sunderland player on the way through to Roos, holding on to it. It did have a little bit of spin on that deflection as well. Isidore now to Habib Diarra. If Sunderland were to get a third, I think that would just cool things down here. As Diarra's pass into the box, the low one is blocked off by Kukure. Does get it back, luckily for him. Diarra will now play it along the floor. Again, though, he was trying to find a red and white shirt. It was Siddiqui and Isidore who he was targeting, trying to pick out, but it's intercepted by Enzo Fernandez, who sees Siddiqui coming in his eye line with a sliding challenge, hits the ball against him. Chelsea throw, 86 on the clock, Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1, 2-0 it is now to West Ham at the London Stadium. Doesn't matter though, because Tottenham are winning at home to Everton, which will send the Hammers down and out of the Premier League after 14 years. Jared Bowen with the second net. Everton were to get 2, West Ham would survive. A positive result for Spurs keeps them up, and it means that they don't drop out of the top flight, something they've not done since the latter part of the 1970s. Here now Sunderland to try and launch an attack. It's just a little bit too far for Diarra, as Colwell is back giving it to Robert Sanchez. As it stands, Sunderland are going to be playing in Europe next season. The Europa League more specifically. Never before have they qualified for Europe via their league position, but that's now about to change. Palmer on now towards Achiampong, trying to get there, battling away with O'Nien, who goes down. Achiampong's cross nearly found Liam Delap, but it got a little touch away from the Sunderland defence. Now Lafay on now towards Isidore, out now to this left side. Chalobah to close him down. Isidore going 1v1 against him inside the penalty area. Isidore hits it, but it's blocked by Chalobah, and any pace and power on the shot has just gone from it as it's gone through to Sanchez. This game now has a real open feel to it as they both target the 4th goal of the game, while Pedro hits it against Trader, and it will be a throw for Chelsea, who have 10 men, remember, after Wesley Fofana was sent off, and as it stands they're going to be missing out on European football altogether. Disastrous really when you consider how much they've invested and how much, of course, last season they enjoyed the fact that they got into the Champions League. Few groans and deep frustrations from the Sunderland players and fans as Chelsea have got themselves a free kick with Cole Palmer being fouled and appended. He got the pass short from Achiampong, came in Phil from the far side. It was Lafay who was trying to block him off. He did stick his leg out to completely stop Cole Palmer there just as he was in full flight, and Lafay shown a yellow card, the French midfielder. As we're into the final 90 seconds here of this one at the Stadium of Light. Confirmation it isn't Lafay, but it's actually Noah Siddiqui who has been shown a yellow card, so my apologies for that. Chelsea free kick, Reece James, who else on this? Right footed ball into the centre of the box. Xhaka with the header first to it though. It does just bounce out of the area for now on the near side with Enzo. But there is going to be a free kick for Sunderland. There was an offside as that ball went in from Reece James, which means it will be a Sunderland free kick. As that has been welcomed by those supporters who are watching on. Some of them still a little bit nervous, maybe not feeling at all too comfortable with how it is playing out. Elsewhere in the Premier League, it's Brighton 0, Manchester United 3. With this result, Sunderland leapfrogging the Seagulls into 7th place. Burnley 1, Wolves 1, Crystal Palace 0, Arsenal 2. Fulham now 2-0 up against Newcastle at Craven Cottage in a game that could be one that Marco Silva manages Fulham for the very last time in. as they lead Eddie Howside. They won't be looking back on this season with too much fondness, will they? Tom Kearney, long servant with the West London outfit, has managed to get the second goal for Fulham after, of course, Issa Diop had put Fulham 1-0 up in the first half. Elsewhere, Liverpool 1, Brentford 1 at Anfield. We've got 10 additional minutes at the end of this one here at the Stadium of Light. Man City 1, Aston Villa 2, Forest 1, Bournemouth 1, Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1. It is here at the Stadium of Light. It's now Delap has it, left side of the penalty area, holding off Luco 9. It was a good, interesting battle between those two that was developing there. He tried to play it to the Chelsea players. They were just hovering around the Sunderland 18-yard line, but Sunderland getting clear. Isidore trying to get away from Chalobah. Good strength by the Chelsea substitute defender, as now they have the ball back now with Reece James. He looks up now, finds Cole Palmer. Chelsea managed to equalise. They would completely destroy any chance Sunderland would have of European football, as Palmer has just been pushed out of the area over on that far side by Reinildo, who just gives the fans encouragement as they want the fans to see them home, as they are within a whiff now of European football, something that they never would have believed 12 months ago when they were walking out of Wembley Stadium after being victorious in the Championship playoff final against Sheffield United. Ball looking for Delap. From a Chelsea point of view, has gone straight to Robin Roofs, 2 over hit, and it's gone about 10 yards forward into the direction of Robin Roofs. Elsewhere, it is Tottenham 1, Everton 0, West Ham 2, Leeds 0. That will mean West Ham are relegated and join Burnley and Wolves in the Championship, and Tottenham surviving. Sadiki now on the far side. We're well over 90 seconds of 10 additional minutes here at the Stadium of Light. Now Xhaka, contender for one of the signings of the season. What an influence he's been, not just on the pitch for Sunderland, but no doubt in the dressing room. Brought some seriously valuable expertise and quality to the Sunderland ranks this season. On now with O'Nien. Xhaka again. Sunderland in possession, exactly where they want to be. Chasing it is Sadiki, who was in an offside position. Oh, sorry, it was Diarra, I should say, who was chasing that down, but Achiampong was ahead of Diarra, which meant that he was in an offside position, so the attack does not continue to develop and maybe even blossom into a third goal for them. Sanchez now has the ball for Chelsea. Chelsea would have drawn this, they go on to 53 points. Sunderland will go on to 52, Brentford 53, Brighton 53, so it would mean that Brighton would go into 7th and Chelsea would be 8th, and it would be as you were in the Premier League standings, with Brentford and Sunderland missing out. Hence why there are various expressions on the Sunderland fans' faces of a little bit of nervous tension and anxiety as they are hoping to qualify for Europe. Enzo, now to Cucurella, one Chelsea goal changes that. Enzo, the Argentine, midway through the Sunderland half, high ball now on towards Achiampong, takes under control, hits it right-footed, it's blocked off by Noah Sadiq, by Enzo Lafay, and it will be a corner for Chelsea, as Lafay is, I think, in real discomfort just around the edge of his own areas. I think he might have taken one in an area where, if you're a male, one that really does hurt. It's sort of that midriff area. And it was actually the boot of Achiampong that caught Lafay, in which he was trying to strike that towards the goal. The shot came off Lafay's leg, and it actually, the right boot of Achiampong would catch Enzo Lafay in a very personal and private area of Enzo Lafay. Corner for Chelsea, Palmer to take it. He got Chelsea back in this contest with this goal. Who's it going to be for Chelsea if they score here? It went in there, just about away by Sunderland's defence. In by Enzo, heading clear by Granit Xhaka. Well defended by Sunderland, who have pretty much everybody back defending that corner. Palmer on now with Reece James. Surely it's got to go in. Nearly halfway through the 10 minutes of stoppage time. On by Colwill, through to Robin Roofs, who holds on, and there seems to be a collision and a clash of heads between Colwill and Nordi Mukiele. As Colwill is back up, Mukiele is still down, arms spread with him looking up to the Sunderland skyline. And as you'd expect, the physios of both will probably come on and give the attention those players need, as it was the back of Colwill's head that Mukiele would head. They were both trying to compete for that ball towards the Sunderland edge of their area. That might just now add a little bit more to the time, as Mukiele has really impressed me this afternoon. A really good, versatile player. He's had a really good career playing for Paris Saint-Germain. He made his name in Germany with RB Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen last year under Xabi Alonso. Of course, is taken over the Chelsea job for next season from current interim boss Callum McFarlane. Camera keeps panning on to the various fans inside the home ends here at the Stadium of Light. Remember the Chelsea fans in the south stand or the Roker end, where they are very high up in that particular stand, right up in the gods is where they are at the Stadium of Light, as Mukiele is back up to his feet, just slowly doing a walk off here as the Sunderland physio just gives him a Lucozade just to try and make sure he's okay, get some fluids on board. Listening to this on Premier League Live and on the TalkSport app. It is Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1 at the moment here at the Stadium of Light, which for Sunderland at the moment, European football is very much happening for them. As of course they'll be leapfrogging Brighton to take the Europa League spot, and Brighton in the Conference League as it stands. And as for Chelsea, well, they will be missing out on Europe altogether, as will Brentford. As we've hit 96 minutes now here on Tyneside. A beautiful day, a glorious day. Sunderland fans probably think they are in a dream. They probably don't think this is real, but it's happening. The fact that they have beaten Newcastle twice since returning to the Premier League, that was a real big thing for the Sunderland fans. Some of them, maybe even some, it was even trying to stay up. This was something that not even the most ardent of Sunderland fans would have even dreamed about, as Robin Roos sends the clearance up the pitch. Joao Pedro leaves one in on the side of Robin Roos and is shown a very poor yellow card. He went to close Robin Roos down. The ball was long gone before Joao Pedro just cut across him and clipped the right shin of Robin Roos, who went down, rightly has his name taken. It's been a second half where a lot of cards have actually been brandished out towards both teams, as Chris Rigg will now come on and play some part in this game, as Enzo Laffi goes off, with the Sunderland fans rising to their feet as they clap off the French midfielder. Such a clever, elegant footballer, a man who Regis Lebris knows so well from his days in France with Lorient. Brought in from Roma, which was a pretty nightmarish spell in the Italian capital. Signed him on loan in the Championship, seen as a real coup. Had to make the move permanent in the Premier League once promotion was secured. And he's been a fine addition for them, as Chris Rigg, a player who, of course, has come through the Sunderland Academy, will come on in place of Enzo Laffi. Robin Roos will now send the kick into the Chelsea half of the pitch towards the edge of the area. Chalobah and Isidore both go down. Chris Kavanagh just lets the play continue, as it will be a throw in here for Sunderland over on the far side. West Ham have won by 3-0 against Leeds, in which of course it's not going to be enough as it stands for them to survive on the last day, as Callum Wilson has got the third in that game. As on the scoreboards here at the Stadium of Light, it says till the end, and they've left the fight for Europe. They're getting in there till the end, and how they are going to secure it as it stands. They've got just over a minute, maybe even a little bit more now, given the fact that, of course, Mukiele had to receive some treatment, as did Levi Colwill after that clash of heads. It's finished Brighton 0, Manchester United 3, so that's now done at the Amex. So if Brighton are to achieve Europa League football, they need Chelsea to score an equaliser, which doesn't look like that's really going to be happening. And given they're already down to 10 men with Wesley Fofana sent off, that pretty much to some Chelsea fans kiss goodbye to any chance of getting any result here in the northeast. Rigg forward, Isidore flicking it on, first time to Diarra. onto it he is. Cucurella had to close him down. I think Diarra wants to put this into the corner. He wanted to get a corner out of it and hit it against Cucurella, but it's gone away from him as Colwill now has the ball inside his own half. He's away from Siddiqui, on now by Fernandez, looking for Delap. Forward though by 09, who clears it away back into the Chelsea half of the pitch. Now Diarra under control, still holding it. Siddiqui sees it come off Colwill, does get it back there to Siddiqui. Plays it away from Colwill, straight to Reece James though. 100 minutes now on the clock. We've played over the 10 minutes. The whistles are there from the Sunderland fans. We will have a bit more time after that stoppage from Mukiele and for Levi Colwill. Just into stoppage time. On by Cucurella. Joao Pedro wins it, but it's bounced off the face of Mukiele, who goes down and is caught by Mark Cucurella. And it will be a Sunderland free kick, and Mukiele going down means he's got a spot of cramp, and it means that he will get some much needed attention from Trey Hume, maybe just an attempt to further slow this down and just to try and calm it down for Sunderland and to calm and slow the heart rate down of those Sunderland fans, as the fans are now starting to cheer. They're now starting to feel a bit more at ease with how this game is going on. They knew that they had to win simply to stand any chance of qualification for Europe, and that is the case as it stands. Cole Palmer shown a yellow card for what we think might be a case of just protesting too much of the referee, as Robert Sanchez takes the kick out of his hands. He got up above Isidore to collect the ball from the Sunderland free kick, but I think he might have just caught Isidore on the head. Sanchez trying to get Isidore back up quickly to not allow any more time to be wasted. Isidore just saying he got a touch on his head, so he needs to slowly get himself back up at his own pace. But not surprised Chris Kavanagh is keen for the game to get back on the line. I think he knows that there's not too much wrong with Isidore there. Sanchez rolls the ball in front of him, he'll send it long. Those Sunderland fans never been more desperate for a whistle to blow this season in the Premier League. Not as desperate as probably what they were a year ago when they won the playoff final. On by Xhaka. Diarra's the only man up there for Sunderland. Xhaka up trying to give him support. Chalobah had to close him down on the near side. Diarra crosses, it's off Chalobah, and it will be a Sunderland corner. That will do nicely for those Sunderland players and those Sunderland fans. They will be taking their time over this now. All those Sunderland players, as Diarra just puts the ball on the quadrant for Granit Xhaka. Noah Siddiqui, I think, pulled up. What a shift he's put in this afternoon. With 2 minutes over the 10 added on. Still we play here at the Stadium of Light. There's the full-time whistle. Sunderland fans, get your passports out. You are heading on a European tour, and more precisely Europa League football. Never in their wildest dreams before a ball was kicked this season did those Sunderland fans ever think European football was possible, but how they have managed to achieve it and smash the predictions that pundits and fans said that they were going to finish in. Many predicted relegation, but how they've managed to achieve European football. They had to win today, and hope results around them took care of themselves, and they did. Trey Hume got the first 25 minutes in from an own flick on. The second half, Malo Gusto put into his own net to put Sunderland 2-0 up. Cole Palmer with a goal. 6 minutes after Gusto's own goal, threatened Chelsea to potentially come back in the game, but Wesley Fofana's red card made it more and more difficult. Those Sunderland players go around a phone just to see the latest set of results, just to see if it is confirmed that they are going to be in Europe for next season. And they're just waiting to fully cheer themselves. Now the cheers come in, and now they can celebrate. European football is achieved. What an unbelievable 12 months it is for Sunderland. It was on this day at Wembley. They beat Sheffield United to get back to the Premier League after 8 years away. Now for the first time in well over 50 years, Sunderland are going into Europe. What a story, what a season for the Black Cats. And they've taken the place of Chelsea to do so as well. There are some fans in tears here at the Stadium of Light. Unbelievable season capped off on the last day with Sunderland getting European football. It says on the scoreboard during the game, till the end. Well, they've left getting in Europe on the final day, till the end. Full time here at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1. Jubilant scenes around the home sections of the Stadium of Light as they have secured European football for next season.
Danso meets it. Maddison surely shoves Alcaraz in the middle. Michael Oliver agrees. So on the halfway line, it's a chance for Jordan Pickford to set something up long. No chance of taking this short. Pickford is going to take it on the halfway line, and Everton are going to send the cavalry forward. Beto, Tarkowski, Armstrong and Jai, all 20 yards from goal. Rolled short to James Garner after all of that. Crossed into the penalty area for Keane. Bounces away. Middle of the park is Mikalenko. To the left wing once more. Tyreek George in a crossing position. Takes Porro into the penalty area. Tyreek George! What a save by Kinski! Leaping to his left and sending it over the top. And the broadest smile in North London belongs to Kinski, because that is a remarkable save from a fierce Tyreek George effort.
What a save. Goes with his wrong hand. If anything, it's not quite in the corner, but it comes flying past. I think it's Paulinho. He's unsighted till the last second.
Everton corner kick is cleared again as far as Mikalenko, middle of the park. To the right, Seamus Coleman could try and swing it in for Everton. Deep it goes towards George. Plucks it out the sky on the end of his toe. Left wing, 5 yards from the corner flag. Up against Spence. Time running out for Everton and West Ham United. Mikalenko in the middle. To the right flank, Garner has to cross in. Will cross in. Tarkowski's header over the top. And Spurs certainly seem to think that that might be that. Time is still playing, but Everton have to score 2 and have a matter of seconds to do it now.
Yeah, that could be Everton's last chance to get back into the game. And it's just all too late from the Toffees. Been poor all game, haven't put Tottenham under any real pressure.
Chance for Kinski to send this forward. Long it goes, all eyes to Michael Oliver. Still we play on. And as we said, we imagine we will for another 2 or 3 minutes. Tarkowski down. Colin Mawani just chases a lost cause. It is school ground football at the moment. Headless chickens chasing the ball one after another. Both sides going hunting for it. Rolled back to Kinski. Just puts his boot through it. Anywhere will do. It's over halfway. Seamus Coleman takes the throw. Looking long as Seamus Coleman. Maddison hunting him down. Coleman spins into the feet of Beto. Holds it up with Armstrong supporting on the halfway line. But Van der Ven has made a 50-yard run into opposition territory to chase down Garner. De Zerbi is begging for the whistle. He cannot contain himself. North London is ready to explode with relief. Armstrong to the right for Njai, up against Spence, early cross towards Alcaraz, nodded behind. It's going to be an Everton corner kick. They'll have time to take it, a little more than that.
I think that'll be it, you know. As soon as this ball goes dead from the corner, I think that will be it.
1-2, play between Alcaraz and Garner. Flat delivery goes in. Dragason's going to try and see it away. Cleared as far as Alcaraz, left edge of the penalty area. 30 yards out is Garner. Here's Armstrong. Paulinho on the charge, but that will do it. Spurs are safe by the skin of their teeth, by the very skin of their teeth. And while the red side of North London has exploded in ecstatic, joyous celebration, here it is an embarrassed relief for Tottenham Hotspur. They have stared down the barrel of the gun and felt the bullet whistle past their ears, but ultimately they will be playing Premier League football next year. Kev Watson.
Well, they've deserved the win today. I thought they were outstanding in terms of their work rate, their endeavour and everything that goes with that. The game itself wasn't a good spectacle. Everton come here with very little on it and they played that way.
but you could tell that Tottenham had everything on it. And the way they performed without the ball, their running power, their willingness to tackle, head, everything, the horrible side of the game, they done it superbly well, and they deserved the victory just on that basis.
Well, there you are, Kev Watson summing up very well the events at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is official, Tottenham have survived and West Ham United are relegated. Chris, we were watching the final knockings of that game on our monitor. Everton gave it quite a go, didn't they, at the end, and had a couple of chances, but Tottenham clung on.
Yeah, Everton certainly did have a go, and kept the integrity of the Premier League intact, certainly, but Tottenham had to find a way to win today. It's a big relief, really, for everyone at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the fans, the players, Roberto De Zerbi, the hierarchy there. 2 years in a row now finishing 17th isn't good enough. It needs to change.
Absolutely.
It needs to change. They don't want to be celebrating this result like it's a big thing. They need to clap the fans for their support through the season, get off the pitch and start thinking about how they can improve next season.
If I was a Tottenham fan, I don't think I'd want to celebrate it.